We're back.
Season 2.
It's here, finally. You didn't think we'd be back, did you?
They saw the empty chairs and they were like, this is just
normal.
This is season 2 right now. I can't believe we're back, but I also kind of can. I don't know. How you feeling?
Yeah, it's been like simultaneously a super long off season, I feel like, but in the meantime, like, it feels pretty normal to be sitting in these talking MSU sports with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think we gotta address, maybe this was too long ago where people don't even care anymore. But I think we have to address the fact that, I'm gonna be honest, we probably let our listeners down a little bit with our just, kind of abrupt end to season 1 of the We Got It podcast. And, I'm just gonna be totally honest here. The Michigan winters are long and cold and sad. And, for me, I think maybe a little bit for you too. MSU basketball just sustains me through Michigan winter. And when we lost in the Elite Eight, it just was like, I can't go on.
Yeah.
It was such a beautiful, wonderful season that I think we wanted to give like such a good tribute to the season. And we just kept talking about, like, we set plans to record and we're like, we're going to do this and we're going to bring up all these great moments from the season. And it just kept feeling like we couldn't do it justice. And so we just didn't, unfortunately. But we're back. And we're going to do our very best not to leave you hanging this season. And we're just so pumped to continue to bring to life the We Got It podcast. We realized like partway through, a good partway through the year last year, that we've been calling ourselves the We Got It podcast. I think they explained it like real early. And then I remember running into someone in the grocery store who, so kind, listened to our podcast. What the heck? And they're like, yeah, is the We Got It thing like a play on Michigan? Because they're always like, nobody's got it better than us. And I was like, oh, no. Let me get you acquainted with the great Will Tiemann and his "he got it" call. And so, we are always trying to do that in our intro, very poorly, of the "we got it."
We got it.
Thank you for supporting me there. It's a nod to just like that amazing moment, which if you grew up listening to Michigan State basketball like I did, you grew up listening to Will Tiemann, and that beautiful moment where he will describe, like, I always go to Matt McQuaid, pulling up from the corner for a long three, and he got it. Like that pause of anticipation. And to me, that like sums up Michigan State sports. And we wanted to feel like, hey, when it comes to Spartan sports, we got it. Like we are here to support you. We are here to help you feel like you are a part of the fandom. I think that is first, like one of the big reasons why we started this podcast, is that so often, whether you have been a fan for 50 years or you just, are a new freshman at Michigan State and like getting to know the lore and the culture and the rivalries and all those different things, that you feel like you can participate in those conversations. Yeah. Because I think so often, especially as a woman, I'm just going to be honest here, like talking about sports with men, like if you don't feel like you know all the new transfers that have come in, or everything that's going on with NIL, or everything that's going on with revenue sharing, or just like when the next game is, you feel like kind of alienated or feel like you can't even like engage in the fandom without knowing all of those things. So one, we're here to remind you that you are always welcome in the fandom of Michigan State. There is always room to come to the light side. And two, we hope to kind of be your one-stop shop so that you can tune in for 30, 45, sometimes longer, an hour, and kind of like have a good pulse on what's going on in the Michigan State world.
Yeah, and I think too, it just helping fans, whether you're, like you said, just getting into Spartan sports, you've been into Spartan sports for a while. Like, obviously, we're coming at it from a fan's perspective, but we're going to be honest as well. We're going to be critical. We're not going to be all sunshine and roses. Like, there's going to be times where we're maybe critical of what's going on or have some criticisms of this coaching decision or this play. And I think that's a fair approach, but also we're right there with you watching these games, hoping for the same outcome as all of you guys. So I think there's that relatability that hopefully we'll be able to have with our listeners, while also having an honest and critical view on kind of what's going on in Spartan athletics.
Yeah, and that really just makes me think of like the other really big reason why, maybe not that we even started the podcast, but why we love doing it so much is remembering that this is college sports and that we're talking about student athletes. And so, it helps really keep in perspective for us like those moments when we get like so into it and like so overjoyed, and then also like so into it and cranky about different decisions that get made. Like these are kids in college playing sports, and it's just so vital, I think, to keep that at the center of enjoying college sports, especially as there are new things rolling out with revenue sharing and NIL and so many different opinions on things, like remembering that these are student athletes. And that's a big reason, making me think of it because you got your awesome hat on right now. Big reason why we're so thankful to be in partnership with Spartans Illustrated. The We Got It podcast is an official podcast of Spartans Illustrated, which you might have heard if you've been around here for a little bit. But Spartans Illustrated is a media outlet covering all MSU athletics. And really at the heart of what they do is helping tell the stories of student athletes. And that's something that I just think is so remarkable. I think there's a lot of different ways that you can choose to report on sports or follow sports or different things, but just keeping the emphasis back on student athletes and helping tell their stories, I really hope is like at the heart of what we're trying to do on this podcast too. And I think that really helps invite that whole culture that we're trying to perpetuate of like everyone is welcome here, and it's so fun to be a Spartan fan. Like it's so fun to bleed green.
I think too, just like so much in college sports media nowadays seems to be about everything besides the student athletes involved. And I think hopefully our approach and just kind of what we bring to the table is an opportunity to, like you said, amplify those voices and kind of go back to the roots of what college athletics is supposed to be about. And it's about the student athletes, the fandom, the just diehard nature that college sports brings. And I think it's unique in this day and age where whether you follow college sports as a diehard, it seems like all the reporting, all the coverage, it's really about everything besides the athletes, whether that's NIL or TV deals or
new coaching staff, like
all this stuff. And we want to go back to what we think really is the heart and soul. Obviously, what is the heart and soul of college athletics is the college students who are participating in these sports.
And if you've been sticking around, if you listen to season 1 of the We Got It podcast, you know that we are specifically super excited and passionate about and get involved in the football and the basketball programs specifically. But we really have been working on like building out what does MSU athletics look like across campus, across the school. And so you'll be hearing us with our little halftime reports on what's going on in other MSU sports. And yeah, I think that's just in an effort to like really recognize the athletic department as a whole and all these phenomenal student athletes that are competing for Michigan State. And again, just like such a cool culture that has been built there. And, you'll hear us talk about it so much, but culture of just like family and acceptance at Michigan State. And I think that's part of why we're such huge Spartan fans. With that in mind, we are kicking off season 2 because
football season is almost just 2 weeks away. Right around the corner.
How is that possible? I literally don't understand. I have to just start mentally telling myself, again, we're going back to the Michigan seasons thing here of like Michigan winter so long.
Yeah.
Football starts in summer. I just have to start telling myself that because fall does not start yet. Sorry for all of you Halloween fall lovers. It's still summer. Football's starting in the summer, and I'm happy about it. We are very excited.
Yeah.
Okay, so football season around the corner. In my mind, I'm still like, it's summer, I'm at the beach, but we're working on it. So if you're anything like me, today's episode is for you. You can think about it as like little mini preview, mini like, let's get our heads back in the sporting world. I know there's some of you who never leave. That's great. I love that for you. You are one of those people. So Jonah's going to be helping us out a lot today. And again, okay, so as we're talking through all these things, make me think about why we do this podcast. I love sports so much. I oftentimes don't know what the heck I'm talking about. And I don't learn unless I'm like talking through it. That's like a huge way that I learn. So big reason why we even started this podcast in the first place is me just constantly asking you things and you telling me them. And I'm like, hey, maybe somebody else can benefit from this. So today's going to be heavy on that. I am going to be asking the dumb questions so that you don't have to. And you might be too afraid to ask those questions, but you're like, hey, Abby just asked who the quarterback is on the episode, and I didn't want to, but now I know who it is. No, I know our quarterback, Aiden Childs. Bless him. So excited. Okay, so today's episode, wrapping our heads around football season. We're just going to dive right in. What's happening, Jonah?
Yeah, I mean, I think probably
what's been going on?
A good idea to give a little recap of kind of what we're coming out of from last year. Obviously, Michigan State last year was under the first year of head coach Jonathan Smith, who came to East Lansing via Oregon State, and kind of a up and down first season, mixed reviews depending on who you talk to. But Michigan State did miss a bowl game, going 5-7. Definitely some high points of the year, definitely some low points, and definitely some games and moments where really feel like they could have maybe gone the other way, and we feel different about that season. But heading into season 2 under Jonathan Smith, 2025, I think expectations are starting to rise a little bit, and I think fans are expecting more out of this program in year 2. And I think there's a lot of new things to talk about. In a lot of ways, there's a lot of similarities from last year's team, bringing back a lot of key returning players, but also a lot of new faces that you're going to want to get your head wrapped around. There's some names you're going to want to know to be watching out for when they take the field against Western Michigan in just about 2 weeks.
Yeah, and we're not going to get into the nitty-gritty of all of that because mentally I am not prepared. We will be giving you next episode like a full dive in like football season preview. We'll go through some of like the nitty-gritty of the new transfers and different things. We're going to start throwing out some names today. We're going to play a little game later that hopefully will not make me look too idiotic to kind of like just start, oh yeah, these are the guys on our team. These are the guys that left. This is what's going on. But we want to just like keep things big picture today. So I love that you started talking about like, where did we even come from last season? So obviously finished the season 5-7, like you said, missed out on bowl game eligibility. And I remember having a conversation at the end of the football season last year of like, was this a success? Was this a flop? How we feeling 1 year into the Jonathan Smith era? And I think we both kind of settled on like, I think this team performed about where we thought they would. Like, it was just so hard with all new coaching staff, basically a new roster, right? Like the majority of roster was either new incoming freshmen or transfers, that it just was like, we have no idea where this is going to take us. A 5-7 season, like would have loved a couple more wins, but I think we felt like this was to be expected.
Right. And I would say like, yeah, maybe we didn't leave the season feeling super encouraged, but also not like panic mode already.
No.
We're at the bottom. There's no way we can go upwards.
Yes. So let's think about like before diving into what we expect in 2 weeks. What has off season looked like? Like I know there was a big stir about there being no spring game for the public to come to. That was like kind of a whole thing this spring, which, you know, we can get into that and kind of old news at this point, but like kind of understand with, you know, our neighbors down the road who like to steal signs, like maybe we do keep things a little more under wraps in the spring season. And especially because there's a transfer portal open around that time and it's really easy to like see what teams need what. And then you go and steal people and all the different things. Okay. So that aside, like off season, where are we at? How are you feeling? Where do you think the coaching staff is at with this upcoming season?
Yeah, I think in a lot of ways, just kind of what we've been hearing from the coaching staff, both directly and indirectly, is kind of coming out of last season. I think people in the Tom Izzo football building didn't really think that they were a 5-7 team. They thought they were better than that. Look at games like Boston College or Michigan, where they very easily could have gone in the Spartans' favor. And if those two games do go in Spartans' favor, they're 7-5, have beaten Michigan in a bowl game, and we're feeling totally different about how that season went. And I think when you look about what went wrong with the season, what were the moments that changed those games to losses when they maybe could have been victories? And it had a lot to do with two things, I would say.
I think I have one of them in my mind.
Details. So the little things. Yeah. So executing on third down or
not getting dumb penalties.
Not turning the ball over after a good drive. those little
Remembering to
mental
call
mistakes,
timeouts,
special teams errors, little things like that, where in year one, they're so focused on helping these players understand a brand new system, a new playbook, a new way of doing things. Where maybe in year one, when you're going through spring football, you're going through fall camp, you don't have as much time to focus on those small things that in a lot of ways determine outcomes.
And you build those in your off season.
Right.
Like you said, you had so many new players coming in and just like transitioning to a new program, a new place, let alone a whole new playbook, all new teammates.
Right.
And then we are going to see, like, there's been a lot of big turnover even from last year to this year, but you have to imagine just having like coaching staff being familiar with the campus and the team and the program and what kind of thing they want to run. Like, you're going to have so much more time to focus on the details in the off season.
Exactly. And I think that was kind of their focus, especially as you mentioned, like in spring, where in a lot of ways it was pretty closed doors on what the team was doing. Didn't have the public spring game or spring showcase like they did
for so long.
Heading into his first year. Yeah. And they just wanted to kind of close outside influence, close outside ears and mouths, and just focus on the things that they knew they needed to focus on.
Which, if you think about another incredible program at Michigan State, the basketball program, like, who is so serious about those kinds of things? Tom Izzo. Like, he is, and that was a huge thing last basketball season, was like shutting out these outside voices and like keeping your focus internal. And so it's boded well for the basketball program in the past. Okay, so you said kind of two big things if we think back of like what changed the record from 5-7 instead of 7-5. You said details. What's number two?
Number two, and I would say, and we saw this kind of really early in the season, and if you followed the season last year, you know how many injuries and key injuries there were from game one against Florida Atlantic. They lost multiple starters for the entire year. Game one, game two, game three, and those just kept on kind of avalanching downwards until towards the end of the season. And maybe some of those games where before the season we thought maybe we had a good chance of winning, we were out there playing multiple true freshmen, guys who never played snaps before.
Yeah, it wasn't even just like the first string player on, defensive tackle got hurt, and then, first string player quarterback gets hurt. It was like the first string in a position, and then the second string in the position, and then the third string in the position. And this is what I was thinking of specifically, was the O-line. The offensive line last year just felt like it crushed us as the season continued on. But really the reason for that being injuries. Like, the O-line suffered injuries like none other. It was like the Lions and the Spartans.
No, for sure. And in college sports, the reality is, and in football in general, injuries are going to happen. Maybe not to the extent of what happened last year for Michigan State. But injuries are going to happen, and you have to have this next man up mentality, but then also the ability to have next man up. Whereas in going into last season, the reason they didn't have an actual real spring game is they didn't have enough healthy offensive linemen to even have a green and a white team. So they had
You're saying like this last spring that was the case? That's part of why they didn't do the spring game? You're saying 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah, because again, we were still working on bringing people in at that point too.
Yeah. And now yesterday I had the chance to be at the Michigan State's practice and media availability. Jonathan Smith was saying that right now they feel like they have 10 guys on the offensive line that they can play right now. And they have guys that have experience, both guys who've been at Michigan State and who they brought into through the transfer portal. And that's just huge, because the reality is they're going to lose a handful of those guys, whether it be for the season, for a handful of weeks. And you have to be able to have those guys behind them that you can trust to come into the game and pick up where they were as a starting unit and not miss a beat or not miss a major beat.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think that's just like very encouraging for my heart to hear, especially reflecting back of like, the things that we talked about at the end of last season, like what is going to take this from a losing record in 2024 to a winning record in 2025. And details and being able to minimize the impact of injuries, right? Like there's only so much you can do. Like injuries happen, unfortunately, especially in football. And again, reminder of like why keeping student athletes at the center of this is so important, right? Like these are kids who are putting their bodies
Yeah.
out on the line for our entertainment over here. Like realizing that injuries are going to happen and there are only so many like ready bodies that you have, and
Right.
just helping us have like a little bit of grace and setting our expectations as we head into the season. But that's so wildly encouraging for me to hear, like, oh, we already have 10 essentially like first string ready guys, and we're only going to be, fielding 5
5
of
at a
those
time.
at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, whew, wipe a little sweat off my brow. Makes
Yeah.
me feel a little better about the season. Okay, so again, keeping things big picture. We've talked about where we started or ended last season, rather. Kind of what was going on with
Mm-hmm.
spring training. Tell me a little bit, because this is part of where I feel a little ignorant. I know there's lots of rules as far as how many practices you can have, when you can practice.
Mm-hmm.
Spring training, right, is like a very short amount of time, like just a few weeks, right,
Yeah.
where you really get to
Mm-hmm.
have time with coaches and players working together. And then I know you can start like summer workouts, and then you can start summer practices. So thinking about this summer, how much time will the team have had like actually getting to play together, running plays? Like what does the summer schedule look like for these guys?
Yeah. So right now we are in the middle of week 3 of fall camp.
Okay.
And that's really the first time since the spring
Fall
that,
camp in July.
yes, where the guys can be in pads and the
Okay.
coaches, they can be on the field.
So like actually taking hits,
Exactly.
actually like facing off against each other, not just like individual workouts in a gym.
Yeah, they had their first live scrimmage this past Saturday, and fall camp really goes for 4 weeks. So next week will be the last week of fall camp, and then the following week is we're in the season.
Like,
we're getting ready for
okay,
Western
like
Michigan game 1.
preseason, like actual what it would look like during the season to have practices,
Yeah.
like Monday through Friday or whatever.
So
that looks
obviously
like.
right now they're still figuring out the depth chart, who's going to be starting at different positions. But then in 2 weeks, when it's kind of game week, they're going to be doing their game prep, preparing specifically for the opponent, having their first and second.
Like having that roster spot kind of set. And
Right.
like this is the game plan that we're taking into the season opener.
Yep.
Okay. All right. That's a lot. That's just like, for me, sitting here listening to it sounds overwhelming. I can't imagine being a student, like gearing up for the fall, gearing up for your classes, learning a whole playbook, trying to compete for like your starting spot, not really knowing if you're going to see the field or not, depending on what position you play. Like the amount of energy and effort that these guys are putting in right now, like, maybe send some prayers and some thoughts their way. Like keep the team healthy. Like that is so much pressure going into a season. And I know they love it. Like, right, I know these guys are doing it because it's such a huge passion for them, but whew, sounds exhausting.
I think too, another thing that's maybe encouraging going into this season is the fact that I know Jonathan Smith has said several times throughout fall camp that right now they hadn't had any long-term injuries. They have maybe a couple guys banged up, but it sounds like they're hoping to get most of them back this week even. And when you have your full position groups able to practice, you don't maybe have all of the depth chart figured out. What it really does is it helps everybody push everybody, because that every single day the coaching staff is evaluating you, and they were calling it this week separation week. Who's going to separate from everybody else? And we know these are all Division I athletes. These guys are all fast. They're all strong. They're all big. So you have to really be busting your tail to be able to separate yourself. And I know in talking with Coach Legge yesterday for the defensive line, he was saying that he was asking his players, like, give me a reason to make me play you. Give me a reason to rotate you in the game. And that competition and having the depth to be able to have maybe 10 or 12 guys in the offensive line room, or 6, 8 guys in the defensive line who are all vying for snaps, playing time. It's just pushing every single person to be better, where you have to focus on those details, because those details are probably going to be the difference between you playing in the game or staying on the sideline.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just like wild to think about. the level of competition and like how much those guys are busting their tails. And I know you brought up a coaching staff there a little bit, and this is kind of like the other big picture element that I think about. So like, yes, we're talking about strategy. Yes, we're talking about details. Yes, we're talking about depth chart and injuries and those sorts of things. But I think what I still have, and we talked about this last season, like when we did our football season preview, like we just had question marks.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just like, we don't know. Like this is what Jonathan Smith did at Oregon State. These are what these different transfers did at their previous schools. But like, what is this actually going to look like when they try to all come together? And I feel like, you know, we got a little bit of like the play style figured out last season. Hopefully we're getting the details figured out this season. You know, we've had a lot more transfers coming in, which again, we're going to get into next episode. Don't worry. We will get there. Just, you know, giving your brain some time to adjust here this week. But I think one of the question marks that I still have is like the overall like culture of Jonathan Smith. Is that fair? Like I think back, you think back to so many different like great coaches at Michigan State. Like D'Antonio had like a feel to him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like a little bit Tom Izzo, a little bit gritty, like a little bit like I'm gonna show you up. And also like subvert what you think and like we're just going to work harder than everybody else. Or, you know, thinking about, I don't know, Judd Heathcote in basketball. You know, like just these different eras of coaches. And I still just don't really know when it comes to Jonathan Smith. I mean, he gives me some of those like old school Spartan vibes of like, yeah, we're just going to put our head down and work. We're going to shut out outside voices. But what is that actually going to manifest as on the football field? Like, clearly, Mel Tucker had a, you know, very big brand when he was at Michigan
And I would
State.
even say he had a very distinct culture.
Yeah.
You know, like totally. There was a distinct feel to the football program when he was
absolutely. Like so much energy, so much just like you're in deep water. Like we are going to make life hard for you when you're at Spartan Stadium. And I haven't gotten like a flavor from Jonathan yet. Is that fair?
I mean, I think personally, I think that's absolutely fair. And I know like you're not alone when it comes to that. I know some people have kind of commented that like he maybe Jonathan Smith maybe lacks personality or passion or just really like what is his culture at Michigan State? Because like his press conferences are usually pretty like buttoned up to the point. Very He's direct. Not getting super fiery or stepping on toes or deeping into like
or even
murky
talking
waters.
About like relationally where people are at. I feel like it's very just like X's and O's. This is who's here. This is who's not here. We're working hard in practice. This is what we expect to see this week.
And I think in some ways, I think fans are warranted to kind of want some more of that like energy or passion from their head coach. I think in some ways that's just who he is.
Yeah.
You know, and I think really you can only look to like, has that approach or his approach worked elsewhere? And we saw that at Oregon State, he did have successful years. He was able to beat top opponents and kind of exceed expectations. So I think in some ways, I would say, yes, I would love to see more energy, more passion, more chutzpah from Jonathan Smith.
Or just like, you know, his personality.
Right.
Sorry, maybe
but I think in some ways, just that's who he is. And we kind of just got to trust the process. And I think as Michigan State hopefully improves and maybe the stakes of these games get bigger, there's more moments. You'll have more history with some of your rivals.
Totally.
Some of that stuff will come out more naturally and more clearly than it has so far.
Yeah. And I mean, I think, like you said, like so many times, I think we want these big personalities or you want to, you know, have like a Dan Campbell that you can rally behind or, you know, even thinking about like the Tigers right now, like AJ Hinch, like just the unique like style of, you know, managing baseball that he has. Like, I think so often we want these personalities to sit behind, but even too, like just reflecting on what we're talking about, the whole point of collegiate sports, in my opinion, right, is like about the student athletes. And so who knows, maybe Jonathan Smith is going to be able to show up in a way that elevates the students and gives himself a backseat role when really he's the one like masterminding everything. I don't know. I'm just like, I'm very curious to see how it shakes out because I think so often we want like the fire or the flash or like even just, the flavor of what this coach
Yeah.
is, but maybe his secret sauce is that he like stays out of the limelight and lets this athletes like do what they need to do. And in some ways, I think that invites a lot more criticism on him and, you know, could make things a lot harder for him, but maybe that's what's actually best for the student athletes. And this is the greatest thing, right? Like this is why I love doing our podcast. We can yap until I don't have any breath left in my lungs. And like the outcomes of the games are going to be the outcomes of the games. And like we get to sit back and enjoy a whole nother season of MSU football. And yeah, I'm going to say like it's always a little hard for me to, you know, get out of summer brain, get into football brain. And this is feeling pretty easy right now. I'm feeling pretty excited about this.
I'm glad. Season. Yeah, because like you said, in the coming episodes, we got a lot to cover because there's a lot to know about this team, kind of what to look forward to, what players to look at. So we're excited to dive into that in the coming weeks leading up to the season.
Yeah. We're going to keep things, again, just like easy breezy here for you today. As we jump into season 2, we just want to, you know, set a couple of expectations for what you can, expect from us in these episodes. We're going to really try to continue our little halftime reports that we integrated, you know, partway through the season last year. And I know we kind of mentioned that before, but just really like highlighting what's going on with other Spartan sports. For this week, it's very brief. So your halftime report is that MSU football is starting to kick off. We're in preseason fall camp. And also the women's soccer team is also in their kind of preseason right now. That's about it. We will keep you updated as, you know, more sports get going. We know we've got tennis in the fall. We've got women's soccer in the fall. Gymnastics is going to be kicking off before too long too. Like there's so many great Spartan sports that we will keep you updated on.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be a little slower kind of to start football season because football kind of starts before everybody else. And most of these winter sports won't start until the fall.
I'm kind of okay with that because football feels like drinking out of a fire hose. So you will have more than enough sports content for a while until, you know, all those other sports start kicking off as well. So then the other thing that we wanted to kind of set expectations for this season is we're doing a little rebrand, I think, over here on our previously known We Got It Covered segment, which I love the concept of, right? Like this idea of like, we got it. We got Spartan sports. If you need it, hopefully we got it. We got it covered when it comes to like the nitty gritty or like the weird stuff that's going on. But quite frankly, that takes forever to say and is kind of confusing if you've never listened before. So we're launching something called Spartan Seminar because quite often Jonah has to take me to school when it comes to MSU athletics and just athletics in general. But we really want that segment to be a place where we get to have fun guests on. If you've been here in the past, we've had Will Tiemann on. We have had the real Shardy himself, Anthony, on to teach us all about like basketball analytics. Help me out here. We've had a lot of other great people. Matt Sheehan's been on it. Oh my gosh, he is a blast to have on.
Carter Elliott from Sleepers Media.
Yes, we had Graham Couch on too from the Lansing State Journal, teaching us all things like NIL. And so that's like a huge part of why we love doing this. I love learning. And again, I'm a verbal processor, so podcast, right? This is perfect. So these segments will really be focused on like learning something new or getting a new perspective, kind of going back to school a little bit. We promise, you know, and we've talked about this. This is kind of perfect. I'm just realizing this right now. We've given you like homework from these sessions. So Spartan Seminar coming at you.
This works perfectly.
I love this. I'm so excited about it. And, you know, we're hoping to just like keep adding a few fun more updates to the podcast. In a perfect world, we would have them like all set up, ready to go for episode 1 of season 2. But we work full time and we do this for fun. So we will appreciate your patience as you bear with us. You know, you might hear a new little intro music coming soon, or a few fun little segment changes coming soon. But bear with us. We're excited to roll those out as the season goes along. Today, for Spartan Seminar, Jonah is going to give me a pop quiz. So you're welcome that I am taking all of the heat for you and that you don't have to.
All right, Abby. So for this week's Spartan Seminar, like you said, we're going to be doing a little pop quiz, okay? Where I'm going to be asking you questions related to either football or the Michigan State roster or coaching staff, and to see how well you do. So we're going to have 3 levels
Why did I sign up for this?
because this was your idea. 3 levels that are each going to get harder.
Levels to a pop quiz?
Yes, levels to a pop quiz.
Oh, great heavens.
Each
Okay.
level is going to have 5 questions. So we're going to start off with 5 softballs.
Okay, what's like the vibe of this? Is this like multiple choice? Is it rapid fire answer? Is it like what am I doing here?
We'll just have to wait and see. Depending on what the question is. Some could maybe be multiple choice. Some could maybe be just short answer.
Please no. I need to know the format of the quiz.
You'll learn as you go. This is part of the fun.
All right.
All right?
All right.
You're in school. I'm the teacher. I get to decide what happens.
Am I paying for this education?
Yes, you are. All right.
Great.
So we're going to start off with an easy question, I believe. So this is just a roster question. I'm going to give a position.
Okay.
And you're going to have to tell me who the presumed starter is in that position.
You're going to be lucky if you even get the right person for the position.
Is level 1, like I said.
This is level 1?
So who do you think, or who do you know, is the presumed starter at the tight end position?
Jack Velling.
You got it.
Look at me. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Question 1, level 1.
All right. Question 1, level 1.
I thought you were going to be like, who's the quarterback?
All right.
Glad I knew that one.
So now, this next question, I'm going to give you a name of a player.
Oh, dear heavens.
And you're going to have to tell me what position do they play.
How specific we talking? Like, is offensive line enough? Or do you need, like, center? Offensive tackle.
We'll see what you can get. Well, just give me what you got. All right?
Okay, get ready with the buzzer or the dinger.
I know. I'm ready.
I don't know if I'm correct or not.
I'm ready. What position does Matt Golden play?
We talked about this.
Mm-hmm. Talked about it yesterday.
Offensive line, center.
You got it.
Okay, he replaced Miller,
mm-hmm.
who came from Oregon State, who graduated.
Yeah.
Sad face.
You got it.
Okay, 2 for 2. I'm rolling.
Yeah.
I'm looking good so far. It's going to go downhill real quick.
Question 3.
Okay.
What is a cover 2 defense?
This is level 1?
This is level 1. You know this one because I know you know this.
Oh my gosh. You're making me think back to so many things that I forget. A cover 2 defense, that's when you have a couple guys on defense. That's the 2. So you have 2 guys on defense who aren't like lined up on the line picking up a specific person. They're kind of like chilling behind the linebackers-ish or with the linebackers and ready to like pick up wide receivers or tight ends that come running through. You gotta tell me.
It was close enough. Cover 2 is you got most likely your 2 safeties.
Okay, safeties. Those are the guys.
They're not lined up against any specific man.
Okay.
They're kind of playing last line of defense, both in zones.
I explained that perfectly.
Yeah,
I explained that perfectly.
Good job.
You're
So
trying to give it to me.
2 more in level.
All right, let's
1.
get this going.
Who is our offensive coordinator?
My brain is saying Brian Lindgren, but that could very well be the defensive. Oh, I was right.
You got it.
Okay, don't ask me who the defensive coordinator is.
Who is the defensive coordinator?
I can only think of the Lions' old one. You're gonna say it? Joe Rossi?
There we go. You just aced level 1 of the pop quiz.
Okay.
I love it.
All right. Wow. You said that and I was like, I have no name in my head. All right. Level 2, bring it on. I'm feeling
all right. Better. Level 2, we're going to start off with I think pretty easy one, but maybe not everybody will know. Who did Michigan State play in week 1 of the season?
This season?
This season.
I only know because you said it earlier and I hope you weren't wrong. I'm going to say Western Michigan. All right, here we
Ding,
go.
ding.
I did not know that before you said it.
All right, well,
Cram studying. That's called cram studying.
Week 2. This is to see how well you remember our conversation from yesterday, because we did talk about this.
Oh dear. Just like our personal conversation?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
Who are the 3 running backs vying for the starting role?
I have to give you 3 names?
If you give me 2, it'll pass. If you give me 2, you'll pass. So give me 2 of the 3 guys vying for starting running back position.
See, this is so hard for me because we lost both of our main running backs last year. For some reason, I think we have a transfer, and I'm probably mixing them up with all the wide receiver transfers, but I think there's someone named Tao Tolliver.
Correct. Okay. Elijah Tao Tolliver from Sacramento State. You just got to give me one more.
Tullis?
Okay, can you think of a first name, maybe? If he has one, if this Tullis even exists.
Edward Tullis.
Edward Tullis.
Elliot Granger.
Can you think of can you think of the third guy at all? No? All right. Well,
I got nothing.
We'll give you a ding with Tullis.
But I only got one.
You said
I had to come up with 3.
I said 2 of 3.
Oh, you said Tullis. Okay, so Tao Tolliver, yes. There is a Tullis.
That's Brandon Tullis.
Okay, Brandon, sorry.
And then the other is Mekhi Frazier.
Yeah, would not have gotten that.
You talked about it, so how much you're listening to our conversations.
This is why we're doing the roster preview next week. You were, just getting our brains used to some of these things.
What position does Jordan Hall play?
I think that he either plays rush end or linebacker, but I could be completely wrong.
All right, you got to land the plane somewhere.
It's one or the other, but there's some players that play both. I'm going to say rush end. That was where my brain first went. Come on.
That is your first L. It is linebacker.
He never plays the rush end?
I don't think, he won't be playing the rush end.
Whatever.
Maybe you'll know something that we don't know, and he'll be playing rush end at some point in the season.
Yeah, we're going to play this back later when he's playing rush end, and then I'm going to have my evil maniacal laugh going.
All right. I want you to name...
Are you just making this pop quiz up on the fly?
No, I have a question. I'm trying to think of a specific number of how many I want to make you answer. So
Talk
this is question 4.
About a professor not being prepared
right? Question 4 is 2?
I think so. I don't know. I'm so confused.
Can you name 4 wide receivers on the team?
These are like select all that apply, but harder.
Can you
I hated these questions in college. 4 wide receivers. Okay, Nick Marsh.
Perfect.
Love him. We have... Oh gosh, now I'm going to doubt myself. Alante Brown, finally back.
Yeah, Alante Brown, that's 2.
Hurt for a long time. Okay. We got a new transfer. I'm going to actually be able to do this. Omari Kelly.
Yeah.
Don't tell me where he transferred from, but I'm excited about him. And then Big Play McRae. I'm never going to be able to forget his name.
You got it. See,
Let's
you
go.
got this. You know
give me the ding.
Think.
There we go.
All right. This is the last question.
Okay, round 2. These people are going to get really sick of listening to this. You got to...
All right. Round 2. How many years of football will this be for Darius Snow?
He's still on the team.
He's still on the team.
I mean, Darius, we love you. It's great. I just am confused how you did this. I'm going to say 6 because I don't think 7 is humanly possible, but it feels like it's been 7.
6? You are correct.
Years.
You graduated level 2.
How?
80%.
How? Okay, thank you. I'm not a B student, so I'm upset with this.
All right.
But it's fine.
And I'll admit.
How does he still have 6 years? Is COVID year still a thing?
I mean,
I guess it's 2025.
Yeah.
That is wild. Okay, moving on. Round 3. Let's get this done.
Round 3. Okay, this one's going to be tough. All right? This is going to really test your brain. You might have to guess on some of these.
Okay.
So this is a kind of offensive formation.
All right.
What do you think is the difference between 11-man personnel and 12-man personnel?
I think I remember this. Isn't 12-man when you run 2 tight ends? Guys, I'm remembering so much from last season. I always feel so defeated every football season because I feel like I like learn so many things because I'm like in it and I'm thinking about it and I'm talking about it all the time. And then the next season comes around, I'm like, I don't know what that false start was. I don't know what that intentional grounding was. I don't know. I can't remember anything. I feel very proud of myself. Why the heck is it called 12 men if you only have 11 men?
Yeah, that's a
Because
good
that
question.
second tight end counts for 2?
Yeah, it's bigger, because you have, instead of another
so
wide
like
receiver,
physically taking up more
space.
He ate another player.
Question 2. Here we go. In what situation can you have 2 penalties
Ooh.
take into effect? Like the yardage or the penalty from that after a play or during a play.
Oh my gosh, we did a whole segment or 2 on this last season.
What has to occur for 2 penalties?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. They have to both occur during or after the play, I think, because if they happen before the play, then the play is just like done.
Yeah, you're on the right track. Got the components.
The actual penalties themselves?
They don't have to be the actual penalties, but like, in what situation can you have 2 penalties?
If they're both on the same team. Because if they're on opposite teams, don't they just like kind of cancel each other out?
Yeah. So they're on the same team. You got it. They they can't be pre-snap penalties.
Okay.
So there's kind of one more component. You kind of already have mentioned it, kind of.
I don't know. I got nothing.
All right. So unfortunately got that one wrong.
I got nothing.
So you said both have to happen either during or after the play.
Okay.
But in that situation, you have to have one occur during and one occur after. So you have maybe a defensive pass interference, and then you have
like a personal foul that takes
personal
place.
foul or unsportsmanlike conduct happened after the play, and they both get assessed.
This is ringing a bell. All right. See? Well, maybe I shouldn't have gotten so excited about remembering things so good, but learning process. We're going to revisit some of the same things on our Spartan seminar as we did last season. All right, question 4. I've only got 2 left. I think. Oh my god.
What position does Jack Janicic play? We talked about this yesterday.
Backup QB.
He's a wide receiver.
Backup running back.
He is a wide receiver.
Oh my gosh, we have so many wide receivers. Is he like starting material?
Probably won't be seeing a whole lot of Jack.
All right, you're really making me go down in the depth chart. All right, move on.
All right, so got 2 more questions.
Will I pass?
I want these to be hard, but I want these to be something that I feel like you can know and that you should know.
Don't pity me. Just, bring them on.
All right.
This guy needs a TA.
Where is Michigan State playing their last game of the season?
Ford Field.
Ding, ding.
Boom, bam, baby. I think that we are playing... Never mind. I'm not going to... No extra credit here.
No extra credit here. All right.
I don't remember who we're playing in that.
Last question.
Okay.
Who is the offensive line coach for Michigan State?
I don't want to butcher his last name, but he's, in my opinion, one of the coolest coaches on the team because his hair is so cool.
Offensive line.
Offensive line?
Offensive line.
I was going to say it was leg A, but he's the tight ends coach? A defensive line coach?
Defensive
line. I knew that. I just get hung up on his cool hair. Offensive line coach. Todd?
No, don't guess.
Smith.
Rack your brain.
Offensive line coach? I don't know, but he needs to tell his players to stop getting injured. I know that much.
Fair enough.
I can give him some coaching advice.
I'll give you the first name.
Mark D'Antonio.
I'll give you the first name and see if that helps you ring a bell for the last name.
All right. Will they get like partial credit on this one?
Yeah, we'll give you a ding if you...
All right.
Jim.
Nance.
Jim Nance. Yes, Jim Nance is the offensive line coach. It's actually Jim McCulchick.
Yeah, wouldn't have known that.
But I feel like overall he did pretty well.
Passing grade, maybe. C's get degrees.
Aced level 1.
Okay.
Passed level 2
80%?
with 80% and what, 60%
Maybe
in level 3?
40. C's get degrees.
C's get degrees.
In Spartan seminars, C's get degrees. All right. Well, hopefully by the end of our football season preview, as we head into the Western Michigan game, if you were to take this quiz, you would do a little bit better than me. So, maybe save this episode and go back and listen to it ahead of the Western Michigan game and see how well that you score. Okay, I actually kind of had fun doing that. I felt a little encouraged. There were things on there that I didn't think I would know, that I knew, and there's things on there that I probably should have known. And I will know.
You will know.
By the time we get to
and
the
Western
Michigan game. We'll see if it sticks in my brain. I'm having so much fun sitting in these chairs.
It's fun to be back.
Quite honestly, I didn't know how I would feel. We've always been about this podcast, as long as this is still something that is fun and uplifting for us, we're going to keep doing it. And I was like, I don't think I'm really going to know for season 2 until we're sitting in these chairs, and I'm a fan. I think we're gonna stick around for season 2. We really hope that you'll join us. We so appreciate everyone who has been so kind to us and supporting, a goofy white Midwestern couples starting yet another podcast. But I think we have kind of a fun time with this, and kind of a unique thing. I don't think you see a lot of husband-wife duos covering sports together. And maybe that means it's not very good quality, but we have a good time, and we hope you guys do too. We are so thankful for all of you for tuning in. You can find us. Obviously, you found us if you're listening to this, but we're pretty much anywhere that you can listen to podcasts, big ones, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. You can also find us on On3, Spartans Illustrated, homepage. There might be some fun updates coming over there soon.
Yeah.
We'll keep you updated there as well. And as always, if you can leave us a review on Spotify, hopefully a glowing 5-star one, but we appreciate honest feedback too, we'll take it. That really just helps our little podcast get out to even more Spartan fans so that we can reach them with our, hopefully, joy and positivity of loving Spartan sports and supporting student athletes and helping more and more Spartan fans be able to jump into the conversation. Leaving us comments on YouTube, on Spotify. We really try to interact with those. We love them. If you ever have feedback or fan questions or hey, you guys kind of suck at talking and staying on topic, and we don't really like listening to you, you can send those to us. That's fine. Our email is thewegotitpodcast@gmail.com. We want to hear from you, even if it's hate mail. At least someone's thinking about us long enough to write an email.
Rent free, baby.
Or if you ever have an idea for segments, or hey, this person, we would love to hear from them on your show. I think that's been one of the other really fun parts about doing this, is just seeing how great the Spartan community is and how many people are willing to just come on and talk about something that they love. So any of the comments, feedback, collabs, send them our way. We're here for them. Let's go. Season 2, baby.
Yeah.
Go green.
Go white. Go state.